You're listening to the Precision Shooting Podcast, discussing all aspects of precision and long-range rifle shooting. This episode is brought to you by Impact Dynamics, advanced training for the precision shooter. And now, over to your hosts.
Well, hello and welcome to the Precision Shooting Podcast. My name is Rusty and this is episode number 61. In the room with me tonight is over there, Mr. Greg Badcoe. How you doing?
Yeah, good mate, yourself?
Yeah, going all right. And also, next to me, not Andrew this evening, this is Simo. How you doing, Simo?
Yeah, good mate.
Good. Now, those listeners who have listened far back enough, Simo's joined us before, I believe, on one of the PRI recap episodes. At least one. Have you been on multiple or just the one?
No, just the one, mate, but I reckon that last one was after the first PRI.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's going back.
Yeah.
Well, we're going back a while. So welcome. Great to have you back, mate.
Good on you, Rusty. Thanks, mate. Good to be here.
Thanks for joining. We've got a few reasons as to why you're here tonight, which we'll get into, no doubt. But usual question, gentlemen, have we been shooting or done anything recently in the last few weeks?
Well, no.
No. Hang on, you're usually the one that's actually done something.
Yeah, no, I've got a chassis in pieces. I sold off the 223 out of my thermal rig, and now I'm waiting for our good friends at SAA Pole to process my PTA, and I'll put a 243 in the thermal rig. So
yeah, you're not saying you're gunless though, are you?
No, I'm not gunless.
Okay,
I'm not gunless. I'll be out this weekend. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I've just got to put the thermal on the old BSA again.
Right.
So I go back
on
in
the
time,
old
back into the 70s, and and then I'll go out this weekend probably.
Yeah, nice. Simo?
Not so much with rifles, but I've been shooting my bow a fair bit.
Okay.
Just lack of time, really, but work, still trying to figure out building that long-range rimfire for the play around with the rimfire comp. So,
right.
Our good friend, the Canadian Beethoven, is selling a couple of gats for me at the moment, so I can finance that.
Right. So you've got a longer range rimfire in the works.
I do indeed.
What are you thinking? Or is it too early to give details away?
Well, I don't want to give all the other blokes any inside information.
But no one actually listens to this, so you should be all right.
Yeah. Well, maybe both the blokes out there can. No. Look, I'm just thinking Lithgow 101.
Nice.
And simply because it's a nice action that's left hand. You know.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're a lefty. Sorry to hear that.
Everyone's groaning. Should see him in here. So, and then look, I mean, I've got a an old Bushnell Elite Tactical on the 308. So I'll get myself a new scope for the 308, and then that can make the transition onto the 22. But other than that, just been shooting the bow and
good fun. Good fun. I've actually been looking at the 22 trainer stuff. Well, not so much a trainer, just its own standalone setup. And I've been looking at the Falcon M18 scope. They're about the $500 mark.
Okay.
And
price is about right.
The price is good, and they've always seemed to work fairly well. So I'm thinking that might be a good option.
I've never seen one of them in the flesh. What are they like?
They're made of metal, so that's probably why.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not going to take that on to bed then. But I mean, like tracking wise, and how the turrets feel.
No, they seem to track fairly well. And I mean, clarity is okay. But then again, if you're only needing to see 200 or 300 meters,
that's right.
They should be. They stand up to that. We had some out of that comp the other week. We had some on display, and I just had a bit of a play with it. And I thought, for the dollars, it just seems right.
But I heard the front runners were running Razor Gen 2s at that comp.
Yep. No, you're not
right?
wrong. You're not wrong. The guy I took out ran a Razor Gen 2, but we don't all have Badcoe cash, so that's
no.
Well, obviously he does. So we obviously need to go into partnership on a few.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
But I was just looking for a sensible option of something that can fit the appropriateness of the gun, and also others could utilise as well. So I mean, I've got no dramas dropping a Carlos on there if that's what needs to happen. It just means I'll have one less on one other gun because I can't buy another one at the moment. But anyway, that's I think those Falcons might be a good option. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll play with one.
I always get interested when there's something new pops up,
Yeah, well, they've been around a while.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about the type of shooting?
Oh no, I mean just the make.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's not the old tried and true, your Bushnell or your Vortex or your,
Yeah.
So,
and it'll probably be good to have a sniff around the Brizzy SHOT Show coming up too.
Yeah, true.
Because there was a couple of tactical CZ type builds at the last SHOT Show. There was I've forgotten what it's called, of course, because that's me. I forget everything. But there was like a CZ in a nice little sort of semi-tactical stock.
Yeah,
and there was a Lithgow in a semi sort of like Manners looking stock.
Yeah, right.
And they look like two really good off the shelf options to get up and running.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely have a look out for those at the SHOT Show.
Yeah, I did look at the CZs. There's one of them, the cheaper of the two is, I think they call it the Tactical.
Yeah,
and then there's a Manners trainer or tactical trainer with the Manners
stock.
That's around $2,000.
Oh, is it? Up around town.
Yeah, and it's not the magical Southpaw version either. So it's back to the Lithgow.
No one cares. Yeah, no one cares.
But you know what? I mean, from the initial stuff, the initial sort of fiddles I've had with the Lithgow, I quite like it. It's not, the action feels nice.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I think they're good. So.
And the trigger feels pretty nice too. So
yeah, and there's bits and pieces you can tweak on all of it. So yeah, I think the Lithgow certainly will be a contender.
And look, and for around $1,100, beautiful.
We had plenty of those Lithgows at the comp.
Were they running smooth?
Yeah,
were they running nice?
Yeah, they were. They were. And in fact, the gun that ended up being in the hands of the winner it was a Savage, but had a number of problems over the course of the day.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, he still shot well enough to sort of move on from that. But yeah, still few issues. Had another one of them actually bail out of the comp because it died partway through.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, the CZs and the Lithgows were the rest of the crew.
Yep.
And they all performed really well.
Yeah, great.
So, which is good. We've been distracted, I think.
It's not hard for us, really.
No, someone mentioned something about guns.
Yeah, and off we go.
We are
on that tangent.
We are.
Yeah.
So, what have I got? I haven't been shooting much in the last week. I got to do a little bit on Sunday. We had a fundamentals course out and got the last 15 minutes. Had a bit of a play as well with some stuff. And I went through that old lesson of making sure you get your distances correct.
Oh, yes, that lesson. Yeah.
That lesson. So
it's a fairly good one, that one.
I ran through a really impressive time and wondered why I missed everything.
Something wrong with my rifle.
No, I figured, what have I stuffed up here? And I realised I'd stuffed up what the distances were.
Yep.
Anyway, minor details. We're away for a intensive 5-day course next week, so that should allow us to make amends, perhaps.
Yeah.
Get some distances correct this time. So that should be good fun. I'll pay more attention to that. Darwin's not far away, the NT Practical Rifle Shoot.
Yep.
So that should be good. I don't know if there's any spots available. Let's say there are, so you definitely need to get in contact with Butters up there. Make sure you jump on their Facebook page and jump onto that if there is some spots available. And the other one I was going to mention was the New South Wales Practical Service Rifle, or Precision Service Rifle, which is on the 30th of July.
Yeah,
so make mention of that out there. I reckon that's at Hornsby. So if you are looking for a comp and you're near Sydney around the end of this month, July 2017, jump on board, get into it, and no doubt there'll be an opportunity to shoot that one. Should be good.
We got any South Aussie fellas heading up to Darwin? Do you know, Rusty?
We do. I'm trying to think who's been on the podcast that is heading up. So some listeners may remember Bronte, who was on board for an episode and has... she probably appeared once or twice. Galen, who was here for the PRI wrap-up. Yep. And Nick from Ignition Custom Engineering as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that I'm aware of. That chances are there are some others, but I can't bring them to front of mind at the moment.
That'd be a good road trip in the bongo van with those boys.
Yeah, that's right. on the plane.
Yeah, she's a bit of a drive. For,
I've done that one a couple of times.
Yeah, it's a long way.
Yeah, one time we did it straight, and that was not. That was really good fun. It took us 29 and a half hours. Really good fun. Never do it again in my life.
Yeah.
That was.
It's all right if you're 20.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that was younger, sillier times. It was for work though at the time, but we got that done. Mission critical. It was all done.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on. So Darwin should be good. So a few South Aussies going, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all goes. And having a bit of a crack myself. Should be good. So one of the reasons you're here tonight, Simo, was you guys, Greg has got the taste of this podcast thing going on and is just branching out into other areas. And Simo, I guess you're just along for the ride. He's clearly funding it all. And
Yeah. Well, look, he's promised me some recording gear and a couple of microphones and that.
Hang on, I'm trying to write it all down. No.
to co-host with him. So
look, it's Simo's brainchild. So
no, so you guys are putting together a podcast. That's what we're alluding to, and getting the mighty Badcoe on board.
The man with the golden tonsils. Yes.
Definitely gold. And tell us about it, Simo. What's it about, and where's it come from?
Look, I guess it's going to have it's going to have some overlap with what you guys have been talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, Greg and I, we spend a lot of time controlling pests, and also a lot of our time thinking about going on trips, and both on our own and together. So really, it's about hunting in general.
Cool.
Right. Yep. So going beyond your rifles and your ammunition and your gear and everything.
Yep.
It's about cars and camps. Especially
food prep.
And the big thing that I'm into, of course, is the paddock to plate stuff. So
okay, cool.
So butchering, making sausages, doing small goods, all that sort of stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it just came about. We were sort of sitting around a campfire one night, going, you know what, we could really actually do some live recording, and actually come up with some great stuff, especially after a couple of ports. Or
I was going to say, you guys are a bunch of funny idiots, so I think that'll probably go quite well.
Yeah. So and our interests are quite varied as well. Although we come together on a lot of stuff, but I'm more into my stalking and up close stuff, where Greg's into his tech and gadgets and stuff. So
and you've got someone else on the podcast, or
got a mate of ours, Justin. He's had a lot of experience with wildlife pest management. He was running the North Queensland branch of what we used to refer to as the Slaughter Squad.
Conservation pest management.
Doing conservation management, but he's also mad keen forward driver like myself. So we're going to cover a lot more varied ground, and hopefully find a bit of find a platform to exchange a bit of knowledge and information with some other blokes, and made a few good connections over at Shot Expo. So I'm thinking everything from like hunting with dogs, training dogs, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned bows before,
through to archery, because archery is another, or bow hunting is another big passion of mine. So
cool.
Yeah, and what do you carry in your pack when you go out? Like for day hunts and
day
hunts.
Sorry, What was that, Simo?
When you're creeping up behind a few sheep.
What kind of podcast was this?
It's an adult one. So.
Okay.
It's R-rated.
Okay, righto.
No, look, really, really broad, but hopefully in time too, we'll sort of provide option for interaction and stuff like that as well, the way you guys are now. But obviously we're grassroots at the moment. So
well, we're not far off that either, to be honest.
But I do believe we're in debt to you as well, because you're going to host us initially. So Thank you very much.
No problems. Thanks for springing that upon me. What we'll
No
do.
worries.
Easy.
And you're going to supply some equipment too, I heard.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Free
No,
stuff.
that's awesome, guys, and it's exciting knowing the two of you lads, and that's the other thing that perhaps that people may not realise straight on the show, but you guys have known each other for a long time, and the three of you guys have known each other since high school.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a huge amount of history to draw on and experiences, but also you also are quite diverse in your knowledge, and you're not all of the same ilk either. I don't remember Badcoe ever talking about going bow hunting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We sort of started off
with a thermal bow.
Yeah. We all started off sort of pretty young and initially into guns, then into hunting.
Yep.
But then we all went to our separate corners of Australia.
Okay.
I went travelling around Australia. Justin went pretty much all around the world. Simon went up into the Northern Territory, did a lot of hunting.
He just went down the road.
yeah, around the corner, never moved. But we've all sort of gone off to the four corners and tasted different forms of hunting and different styles. And then now we'll come back and talk about it. Hopefully we'll pass on some experience, and some, maybe young hunters or even experienced hunters can just get a little, a few tips from us, and hopefully we can hit on the guests.
Yeah, well, that's exciting.
On the topics that, on the particular topics we're talking about, we can get some guests in that can really, pass on some knowledge.
Brilliant. So I know it's not up yet, but what is it going to be called when it is?
It's called Hunting HQ.
Hunting HQ. So we're going to certainly we'll pass it out once the information comes on board.
Absolutely. I'm sort of in the middle of setting up Instagram and Facebook and all that sort of thing to complement it. So
yeah, right. You might want to get onto that because they time out if you're in the middle of it.
Well, I've done it. I just got to do the podcast basically.
You got to do some work.
But I thought I better jump in there and just lock it down.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome. We look forward to that, and I know that you've got some exciting guests planned and bits and pieces. So, guys, we'll pass that on for those of our listeners who really do enjoy the hunting side of things. And not that we're not going to stop talking about the long range hunting side of things, but we certainly do really keep it along that long range precision stuff. So wonderful for people who want to develop a little bit more in that regard. That would be excellent. So, guys, we're gonna move on from that. Thanks for joining us, Simo.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me.
We know you do enjoy some of the precision rifle stuff and all that sort of gear as well. So it's great to have that diversity. So we have been running a competition for some coffee mugs recently, and what we did is we asked you guys to send in your couple of comments about what you would do if you started over again, and we got a bunch of feedback. So we put them into the back of episode 58 and put them up on Facebook and wanted you guys to vote. So what we were going to do is to give away 2 coffee mugs, and we still are. And one of them was going to go to the comment that had the most likes, and that was the comments by Fat Jesus. So Fat Jesus, you've won the first coffee mug. Well done. We are going to throw in actually what you said here.
Yeah, g'day, my name's Fat Jesus. If you were to get into shooting, something I'll probably just get something simple, something that works, do a bit of research, ask some guys down the club what they use. There's heaps of stuff on the website, lots of websites to check it out, and just get something basic just to start. And from there, when you start coming up with these comps, you'll start meeting guys and seeing what others use and start talking. And then from there, once you get that, you sort of can start building your own rifle and just learn the basics, like start working on positions. You don't have to shoot live rounds every week. Just go out to a range, do some dry fire, build some barricades in your room. But the biggest thing is just start, like get into it. Once you get into it, you get these things, you meet so many guys. Like the amount of guys I've met so far from coming down to PRI, like Scotty and Andy and all those guys, it's such a learning curve. And coming into these events, it's like drinking out of a fire hose. There's so much stuff that you learn, and it's been awesome. And everyone's so friendly. It's the best thing I've ever done so far, and I love it.
Well, I don't know how he won with that comment, but anyway, that's what he did. He got the most likes, so well done. Now, the second, also Fat Jesus, that coffee mug is coming out to you as soon as I can find you on in the white pages. It's been
Under J
yeah.
or F.
Yeah,
Is it?
that's what I'm trying to work it out.
Does he want it signed, or will that devalue it too much?
We're definitely signing that one.
Yeah.
All right, and the other coffee mug was going to go out to one of the people that voted in that Facebook post. So I've got all the names in the system here. You guys can see those.
Yep.
And I'm going to click on pick a random name. Let's see how we go. Jared Robertson.
Hey.
There we go. Jared runs the Victorian Precision Service Rifle. So, Jared, congratulations, mate. You've got a coffee mug. Are we going to send him signed?
Oh, I think it'd be a real treat for him.
You struggled to get that one out through all the laughter. All right, Jared. Well, both you and Fat Jesus get signed coffee mugs. I'm going to find like a really ghastly coloured pen to make you sign them, and we'll get those ones out to you as soon as we can. Sorry for having to send them to you. And thanks, guys, for everyone who partaked. Is that a word?
It is now, mate. It is now.
I was going to say partook, but it sounded like something you'd get out of Lord of the Rings. And so we're going to send thanks for everyone to be involved with that. That would be wonderful. I'm sure we'll do another giveaway at some point soon. So we had some questions come through that we're going to hit up, and I'm going to throw them to the guys here, and also we'd love to hear your comments, those who are listening as well. Feel free to chuck it up on Facebook. So let's start with this one here from Sean McNally. Now, Sean was actually on the podcast the other week, and then proceeded to send us some questions as well. Here we go. So, how do you know when your barrel is worn out? What shows and what to look for? In 22 to 50 through to other calibers, will there be different effects to notice? All right. So, Greg is jumped forward, and he said he wants to answer this one first. No, he's
chomping at the bit.
No, he said he hasn't got a lot of experience with this.
Nah, I haven't actually had a barrel diameter yet, so I can't add a lot of value.
No,
so I'll hand that one over to you, Sam.
I'll say the 2250 is right up my alley because I had that experience, and perhaps I'll go through with it. So we were out on a trip. We were out with Jordan and Dan and Cole, King of the North.
Yep.
And we were out shooting, and a bloke called Ryan as well. And we were out shooting just south of Broken Hill, and reasonably good at shooting under spotlighting conditions, and I was missing everything. It was absolutely everything, and the guys are giving me a hard time, as they should. Fair enough, no dramas.
Yeah.
I'll
a target.
Yep, correct. Up until probably missed like the 10th attempt.
Yeah.
And Jordan got stuck into me, which is, I'll wear it. That's fine. You have bad nights. That's no problem. And Dan looked at me and went, right, no, something's up because you're normally hitting more than this. So you're not going to hit everything, but you normally, you don't usually have that bad a run. I went, it's just, I don't know what's happening. No, I'll claim it's me having a bad night. Just can't put it together.
Scratching your head. Yep.
Correct. I'm happy to be completely wrong. It just seemed to be slightly excessive, not having any luck. So anyway, the next day we shot the rifle on paper, and it was not going well.
Yeah. So what was it? A big even spread of randomness?
Yeah, the group just got huge compared to what it was, and so I took that on board, and I went, all right, well let's see what else we can do. So my first thought was. I remounted the scope, I checked the rifle, did all those bits and pieces up there, and still to no avail. So I then thought, well, what if it's my reloading? My reloading's let me down. All right, let's eliminate that as a factor. So I bought some factory ammo in the same projectile I was running, and I shot that, and the groups were worse. And I went, okay, well, I'm going to guess that this is my barrel has had problems. Yep. And so we looked down it, and sure enough, the first reasonable amount of the rifling had been worn away. It had been
like in that
down.
Throat area.
Yeah, in that throat area, just extended all the way, a significant way, not all the way, reasonable way down the barrel, and enough that clearly the projectiles were having a long jump to actually engage with the rifling.
Yeah.
And therefore we're having an effect on it. Now, the rest of the rifling would have been no dramas at all. It's really that throat area that burns out.
Yep.
And so that's concluded to me that there was a problem there. Rebarreled it, instantly come back to well under half a minute.
Yep.
And started hitting things again, surprisingly.
Yes.
So that's the unfortunate story of how I knew. Now, that gun, I bought that gun secondhand many moons ago, and this is going back quite a while now. And so when I bought that gun, I bought it secondhand, so I didn't know how many were on the gun.
Yeah.
So it was hard to take an estimate of how much life I got out of it. 22 to 50 is probably somewhat notorious for not having a huge amount of barrel life. The flip side to that, my 300 Win Mag, and listeners who've been around for a while may remember that I was questioning whether I'd shot the barrel out on my 300 Win Mag. I don't know if you remember that, Greg.
Yeah, no, I vaguely remember, yeah.
And so it was exhibiting similar signs. It was inconsistent. The groups were opening up, and I ended up having two problems with that, which we solved. One was a rail issue, and the second one was a cleaning. I cleaned it thoroughly, completely, and between those two things, it came back. And
like being stripped. Yep.
Yeah. So, well, it was no dramas not stripping it until about 1,500 rounds, and at which point it seemed to want to be down.
Yeah.
So
that's what I've found. With stripping is depending on the barrel, they'll handle several to many hundred rounds before they start to open, and then you strip it or pull it back in again.
But it doesn't usually take much to foul it again, though, after you strip it, does it?
No.
Not into that little buffer period. And, and I mean,
yeah.
as I said, it was 1,500 rounds since I cleaned it. So, so what was interesting about that, I guess, the reason I bring it up is it was the similar signs in terms of what was happening downrange. I probably should add into there, we looked in the barrel, it didn't have the erosion that was present on the 22 to 50.
Yeah, yep.
So that's probably a fair way to check.
Yep.
So did you notice that? Sorry, cut you off there, Rusty. Did you notice was the 250 gradually going out, or did it just sort of go boom, all of a sudden? Do you remember?
Do you know, it's one of those things that so at the time, I'm trying to get my dates right here, but I think at the time I was culling roos, and so through that period, made a headshot at a roo under 200 meters. It could have gone out significantly. It could have gone out a reasonable amount without me noticing the actual effects on accuracy.
Yeah, right.
When I went out on the trip, we're shooting foxes and we're shooting at 300, 400, 500 meters.
Yeah.
That's when I'm going, hang on a second. Something
Okay,
it's me. And
especially when you're going left and then right and then high and then low.
That's right. Yeah. And so perhaps the use I was having prior didn't reflect to me whether it was a quick drop off or whether it was a slow degrading of accuracy. From the stories I've heard in that sort of thing, it generally seems to be a slow. Well, I say slow, but a degrade of accuracy over a bit of time. That slow or quick depends on how much you shoot, I guess. So and other times we've seen barrels sort of worn through. It's a maybe we say a rapid decline. It's not a fall off the cliff type decline, but it's a
she fails pretty quick. Sort of thing,
once it starts going, it starts going pretty badly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I'm trying to think about any other barrels I've worn through, and probably sort of similar thing. But that's the 250 was one of the interesting stories about sort of how it came about. That was my first time, and so you always remember your first time, don't you, Greg?
Yeah, always. With the scope cam that you used, you said you used the camera to look at the throat.
Bore cam.
Yeah, bore cam.
Yep.
Was that a clearly obvious view of the throat being eroded when you saw it, to the beginner or to a non-trained sort of person? You go, oh yeah, that's like if you compared a good rifle to a rifle with the throat's gone. Is it like easily determined, or do you think it's subtle?
I think it's a good question because I'm thinking here like it was pretty easy to see.
Yeah,
but then you're thinking. It's been a while since I've been a beginner. I mean, we're always learning.
Yeah.
Since I've been a true beginner, I guess. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, the only line I was going there was whether
would it be easy to pick up.
Yeah, and some of those cheaper, barrel cam things, they're pretty reasonably priced. You could get one in and have a quick look. But I just wasn't sure how easy it would be for people to determine whether they've got an issue.
I think if you did a little bit of research as to what to look for, you'd pick it up really quickly. Is that an appropriate way to say it? I think if you knew what you were trying to pick up on, you'd pick it up really easily. It's not coded in there. You don't have to try and uncover it. But if you just looked at it quickly, you go, it's a barrel. Yeah, probably should clean it. Yeah. So, Sean, I think we may have ignored your question completely and gone off with something else. But anyway, hopefully that answered it, mate.
Got him some options.
Cool.
That makes me wonder about some of those old Lee Enfields I had that probably had about 50,000 rounds through them. And I always wondered, why can't I hit the side of a barn at 100 metres?
All you, mate. All you.
Yeah. That's why you went to a bow, wasn't it?
It's a left-handed thing. It's a left-handed thing. All right. So now I've got an email here from Richard, and Richard says, "I'm a Kiwi. Sorry to hear it. Currently living in Sweden. Happy to hear it. So I'm pretty stuffed as far as shooting goes. I've got a question I reckon might have legs for a podcast. How do you guys diagnose your shooting? There's a ton of information of how to be a better shooter on the internet, but when you just start hitting targets, how do you correct yourself? Just change your barrel out. That seems to be
just change your barrel.
How do you analyze your misses and figure out what is causing them? Obviously, having an experienced shooter partner to check and analyze your form helps, but that isn't necessarily accessible for everyone." He goes on to quote a couple of sources of some video exercises. THLR is the one. It'd be really interesting to hearing how we would go about that. Cheers, Richard. All right.
Yeah, okay. So it sounds like he's struggling to find a source of good quality coaching data, or coaching instruction.
I think, as he says, he's in Sweden. Perhaps this type of shooting is not overly present there, and therefore being able to partner with someone to help them out. I mean, that's the simplest way is to get someone to watch your shooting, isn't it?
Yeah, or someone can shoot to get to build you up. I'm fortunate. I come from a military background, so I got trained from the ground up, but I didn't have to start fresh away from a training regime, and I would highly recommend training. But
so would I, funnily enough.
Yeah, you better. But I guess finding a decent source. I'm reading into this that he's restricted in where he can go, like physically, to get coaching. He's looking for an alternative.
Yep.
That's what I'm reading into this. So I'm not sure. I guess his only real source then would have to be through some sort of video type coaching, yeah? Besides some sort of local club or local hunt club.
I think he's asking our experiences, like if we've had times or positions where we've found we've been struggling and say, right, how do we resolve that or how could we work towards it? And let's take out proper professional coaching is a really good option, of course, and that sort of things. Let's say that's not an option for some reason, or perhaps you're going to go do that, but is there something else you could do? Or let's say you're out in the field and you just go, what has gone on this trip? Like my barrel issue before. What else could I have applied to perhaps seeing what's going on?
Well, I mean, if I can be the turd in the punch bowl, I got another.
You can always be that if you need to, Simo. Whatever your left-handers have to do.
Well, I mean, what I was picking up was more so. I think, Greg, you're on the money where he's looking for direction of some sort.
Yeah.
It also sounds like there's no. He says it's pretty stuffed as far as shooting goes. So, I mean, I would be getting onto the YouTube and picking someone and sticking with them.
Yeah, because